You don't actually hate reading, you have just been doing it completely wrong. I went from 0 books a year to over 150. And honestly, it's not a rocket science. Just give me few minutes of your life and I will give you 15 zero BS rules. And if you follow them, you will start reading like a pro tomorrow. I promise you, these are not complicated routines. These are not speed reading scams. In fact, I have asked my friends to follow these rules and they have seen a change in their reading habits in the past year. So I can guarantee you that these work. To make this super duper simple, I have grouped this into 3 categories and I have saved a golden rule for the very end. So let's get right into it. Pillar 1, the mindset hack. So the first pillar is all about getting out of your own head. We are going to ditch the guilt, stop treating reading like a homework and actually make it fun again. Rule number 1, stop the book count Olympics. Look, if you want to run a marathon, you won't just get up right on day 1, chug a cup of coffee and try to run 26 miles. No, you're just going to pass out. And it's the same that comes into reading as well. Setting a massive goal to read around like 100 books a year when you're just starting out, it's just a trap. It will feel like a homework, you will be overwhelmed and you will eventually quit. And please don't fall for weird internet hacks. Like I literally saw a lot of TikTokers who just read dialogues. Yes. Now, is that reading or is that spying on imaginary people? The goal isn't just to read a lot of books, the goal is actually to enjoy what you're reading. So even if you've just read 10 books a year and have enjoyed this part of it, I guarantee you the next year your numbers are going to go way up because you have built this habit. And this brings us to rule number 2, drop the book snobbery. Look, reading is supposed to be fun. I will reiterate it again and again. It's not supposed to feel like a homework. So you don't need to start reading a 500-page classic just to impress people on a train. If you want to read a cheesy romance, if you want to read a graphic novel, if you want to read a super fun thriller, just do it. There is no award for reading the most boring book and not enjoying it. And also, like if a book is super popular now, everyone on the internet is talking about it, might as well pick it. It's popular for a reason. Who cares if it's about giant dragons or it doesn't win a fancy award? You should actually enjoy reading what you're reading. So stop thinking about what other people will think about the books you're picking up and start picking up the books that you yourself are going to enjoy. Trust me, your numbers are going to skyrocket. Rule number 3, mess your books or don't. I think there are 2 types of readers in the world. One who treat their books like they are a fragile glass, and 2 who want to write all over them. And there is no right or wrong. Sometimes a shiny new book could feel like a bit intimidating to mess it all up. But you know what? You bought it. It is your book. If you want to pick up your pink highlighter and highlight all over it or write in big caps, this guy is an idiot, do it. Talking back to a book can keep a lot of people engaged more to the story. But if you're like me and the thought of dog-earing a book makes you want to cry, then don't do it. Like at the end of the day, the book police is not coming to your house to check on you. It's your book. Do whatever makes you want to enjoy this habit. This brings us to rule number 4, which is a very important rule, and it is the art of giving up. Now here's a secret. You do not need to finish every book that you have started. In the book world, we called it DNFing or did not finish. I usually recommend this test called the Portkey test. So if you've been into a few chapters and you're still thinking about your laundry, your annoying boss, or whatever, the book failed to portal you into a different world, means probably this book is not right for you. So I would suggest to stop reading it. Good fiction should feel like an emotional kidnapping. It should portal you right outside of your bedroom and drop you into the super fun world where you're completely hooked. And instead, if you're just fidgeting, checking your page numbers every now and then, waiting for the book to get over, it's not working. Life is too short to sit through a bad plot. Just evict it from your nightstand and move on. And this brings us to the last rule of this section, rule number 5, audiobooks are not cheating. So let's just settle it right now. Audiobooks count as books. And if you haven't given them a try, I really urge you to give them at least a try, because trust me, I used to feel the same way. I used to feel that audiobook is not reading, I would not get hooked, it would not work for me, it's not the same feeling when I get a book. But no, It's a total game changer, and sometimes the audiobook makes it even a better experience than reading a physical copy. But there's a small catch that a bad narrator can completely ruin even a 5-star book. So if you feel like the narrator is like reciting just a grocery list, that's not really a good audiobook. I would recommend that you should try the free sample first. There are a lot of good narrators who will do the accents, bring all the drama. Like I've read this book where there's a kid who just says, "Mama, mama, mama," and you can feel right yourself in the middle of parents in a school playground. So if you want some guaranteed winners to get you started on your audiobook journey, check out my audiobook suggestions video next. And now we go into our pillar 2, steal back your time. So everyone who I ask why you're not reading, and the most common excuse that people give me are, I just don't have the time. But trust me, you actually do. So I'll give you some easy tips and tricks where they're like these boring 5 minutes of your time which you can grab from the day and turn them into pages. This brings us to rule number 6, treat your books like keys. So you know the pocket test when you leave a house, phone check, purse check, keys check, add book to that list. We all have these weird 5 minutes of our lives scattered all around, maybe you're waiting for water to boil, maybe you are waiting for your doctor's appointment in the waiting room area, or you have arrived to work early and you just don't want to go in yet. Usually during these times, we pull out our phones and go on doom scrolling till our brains go numb. I'm telling you, these are the best opportunities to turn it into your reading time. And if you think like a physical book is too bulky to carry around, a Kindle is a great investment. And if you don't want to invest in that, try some free reading apps. If you just read 2 pages every time you're stuck in some day-to-day life activity, you will have finished a chapter a day without having even tried. Rule number 7, reclaim your lunch break. Now, we all do the same thing, that when we sit down to eat food, we often open Netflix or some streaming app and we spend 20 minutes trying to find the right kind of video or show to watch while eating the food, and then by the time your food is already cold. Just open your book instead. This is a massive cheat code. So if you're not going out for lunch with your co-workers, you do not just sit in your laptop and stare at your email or sit in a cafeteria just scrolling through your phone. Read your book, because these are solid 30 minutes of your life where you can clear your head, get out of your work and be transported into a book. Plus, trust me, if you're an introvert, no one wants to disturb the person who's reading a book. This is the best do not disturb sign. This brings us to the last rule of this section, a very important rule for the procrastinators. Make an appointment. We all love to say, I just don't have the time, but then our screen time report drops and you have realized you have spent like 5-6 hours of your week scrolling through videos of cats dominating the world or kids falling. Maybe that's just me. You have the time, you aren't just prioritizing it. Treat your reading time like a highly exclusive meeting that you cannot cancel upon. Even if it's just 15 minutes right before you go to sleep or 10 minutes in the morning while you are making your coffee, do it. And if you're a massive procrastinator, I know we have all been there, there is no shame to it. I am suggesting you to actually put it into your calendar and then leave your phone in another room and go read your book. And this brings us to our pillar 3, pick the right books. Life is too short to read boring books. This section is a cheat code for you to literally find the right books which you are not going to be able to put down. Rule number 9, which might seem an counterintuitive rule, stop asking for favorites. I have seen many people who start reading again. What's the first thing that they do? They text their smart reader friend and ask them to suggest what's the favorite book of all times that you have read. Stop this immediately. Your friend's favorite book might be a 1,000-page long historical fantasy that takes 3 months to finish and a family tree to understand it. Handing it to just a beginner is just plain cruel. Instead, ask them these questions. What's the last book you read that got you out of a reading slump? Or what's the last book you read that made you stay up until 2 a.m.? You do not need a literary masterpiece right now. You just need a getaway drug. You need a book that is so addictive and that is so fast-paced that you are not able to put it down. So you should not ask for the smart book, you should ask for the fun book. Rule number 10, use the free magic. Look, I am no one to stop asking people to buy books. Buying books is a beautiful hobby visiting bookstores, supporting local authors, and supporting authors in general, and having a huge collection of books in your house is a beautiful thing to have. But it might not be the budget for everybody. But if your budget is tight or your bookshelves might be overflowing, you do not have any more free space in your apartment, you do not have to buy the $25 hardcover every time it releases in order to read a book. Get a library card. It's a magic hack. I live in London and literally I can order any book that I want through my library, and it might take 2 or 3 weeks or even more if it's more popular, but they bring it right to the nearest library and I can just go and pick it up. And meanwhile, I'm also finishing like other books. You can also access the apps like Libby, BorrowBox or Hoopla, which have these free audiobooks that you can download while just sitting in your couch and listen to them. You can always go to the bookstore, grab a cup of coffee, get pictures of all the covers that you want to read next. I'm just giving you a free backup plan. Rule number 11, this could have been an email rule. Now, this rule specifically deals with non-fiction, and amongst non-fiction specifically about books about self-help. Look, like some of the non-fiction books, like they have these like great ideas, but then it's just an idea and 200 pages of fluff just to make it sell. So if you're reading a non-fiction book and you have got into the main point by chapter 2 and then you just feel the book is repeating itself, you can just stop and skim the rest of it. You can just read the chapter titles, Google the summary. Like basically you can stop yourself from reading 50 different examples of the same concept over and over again. Do not feel guilty for putting down a book that could just have been an email or a 30-minute podcast. Save your time, it's precious, and just move on to the next book. Rule number 12, one of my favorite rules, try mood reading. Think about how you watch TV shows. Like after a long stressful day at work, would you come back to home and watch this dark, stressful documentary? No, I would rather just watch a funny sitcom or a trash reality TV to turn my brains off. Books work exactly the same way. You don't need to read just one book at a time. You can always read some masterful literary fiction on the way to work. You can listen into an audiobook while doing your household chores, and maybe at night you have some trashy romance on your bedside table just to give yourself off at the end of the day. You have a lot of options going on, so you can just switch onto a book that kind of feels like your correct vibe at that right specific point of time. You can always switch later on to another book. This way you don't get stuck in a rut. Rule number 13, find your taste well. I would suggest to stop picking books from a top 10 favorite list, because like a lot of times these are just books that are trending at that moment and it might not cater to your specific taste. Instead, find your taste twin on BookTok or BookTube. Find these creators who kind of enjoy reading these specific tropes or weird tropes that you also enjoy. If they loved a book that you hated, they are probably not your person. But instead, if they have a hidden gem that you also enjoy reading a lot, congratulations, you have now outsourced your TBR or to be read pile. Let others do the hard work of filtering through the trash so you can spend your precious time on the winners only. And this brings us to the last rule of this pillar, rule number 14, keep score. Let's be real, we all love a little bit hit of dopamine. If you want to stay motivated, you should try to turn reading into more of like a game. So keep count. Whether you use an app like Goodreads, you have a fancy reading journal, or just you're keeping a track on your calendar, doesn't matter. Keep a track of every single book you have finished. There is just some weird level of satisfaction that people feel that when they have moved a book from a to be read pile to a finished section, or they have seen the stack of books stored in their house which is never get into reading, and slowly a few of them move into, oh yeah, I have read this one, I have read this one. So there's some great deep level of satisfaction when you see your finished pile growing. Don't just read, build a trophy case, and every time you finish you can say, yes, I did it. And finally we come to the golden rule. So if 15 rules feel a bit too overwhelming for you, I'm telling you, just start by following this one. Trust me, this single rule can get you out of your reading slump, can get you out of your doom scrolling habit, and you can start being a pro reader right from tomorrow. And that's our final rule, rule number 15, the one-page lie. We have all been there. Trust me, we have all been there. You are beyond exhausted. Your mind is feeling like a fried circuit board, and reading just another chapter just feels such a huge job that you might as well climb Mount Everest in flip-flops. This is where you use the one-page lie. Tell your brain, I'm going to read only one page. Just one page. Usually the hardest part of reading isn't the book itself, it's the act of opening that book and keeping your phone aside. So when you follow the one-page lie, before you know it, you might have finished 3 chapters, actually enjoyed the process of reading, and forgot why you were tired in the first place. Train your brain into greatness. And that is the full 15, no more excuses. And if you just want a last piece of advice from me, it'll be just start following right now. Just start right now. I guarantee if you put these rules into play into your day-to-day lives, you will stop being the person who wants to read and instead turn into a reading person. Before you know it, you are the one who will be handing out advice to other people. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like button so I'll keep these reading tricks incoming. And now just close this video, put your phone into another room and start reading. Till then, bye bye, good night, Shubh Ratri.